Dude, that's really freaking loud. Holy shit. Why is that so loud?
Right now. I
Man.
have my soundboard at 15%.
All right, are we all good to go?
Good here.
All set.
Yep.
All right, cool. Someone want to fill us in on what happened last time?
Sure. So last time, after a rousing imaginary session of miniature golf putt-putt for a good set of time, we all stood around outside the conference room, having finally decided we're not going to attempt to port the ship outside of that room due to all the bad vibes and ideas. We had sealed it up so that whatever androids might potentially jump us can't get out and follow us, and all decided to continue our search for the Sector A. Uh, Doing that, we progress on our path away from the direction we came from, which was, honestly, I'll be honest, Richard. That's his name, Richard, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm drawing a blank. Uh, Away from Richard's room, and we continue down the corridor until we reach a very specific intersection with a spoke leaning inwards. But on the path to that intersection, we begin to see the corridor being all torn up and the lights beginning to flash and become more of an emergency lighting system. The corridor is dark and flashing constantly. And as we progress, we detect the scent of blood and the stickiness, and everything is just covered in viscous liquids that we do not really want to know about, but Johnny Washy probably does for some reason, because as a policeman, he is very acquainted with blood, and in our past experience. Uh, but as we get closer, more and more tears in the hole are apparent, and we eventually even find bodies that are all torn up. And we cannot determine what exactly happened to those bodies. All we can see is just a tornado that went past, apparently. So once we reach the middle of the intersection, we decide that the best approach would be to continue into the spoke and hopefully find information on Sector A that way. Once we made that decision and started making an interest into it, Billy realizes that the corridor is beginning to close and tries to check with the rest of the group whether or not to go using silent hand motions. And there was confusion amongst the group. So Larry just says, "Fucking let's go," because he thought that that's what Billy wanted it to do. But in the end, it was just the push they all needed to jump through the very quickly closing corridor. They managed to jump through without anybody becoming a separated individual. With the corridor being closed off behind them, they are left with only one option, and that is to go forward. And as they progress forward, the lighting in the corridor in the spoke returns to normal, and all they can see is a long shaft of nothing but walls and flooring and a bunch of maintenance rooms. As they progress forward to the other side of the spoke, Larry takes some time to check one of the maintenance rooms to see that they are containing tools, and amongst them, to his wonder, he finds a wrench to replace his also lost wrench. Once they once he gets it,
That was the most
they reach.
important part of the last stream for sure.
Indeed. Once they get to the door, they find that it is locked, and I cannot remember exactly what the message on it said, but it had a very secure system that could not be broken into easily, and upon a very solid shoulder check by Billy, it is decided that we should probably find a way around the door to get to the other side to see if that is the also rumored Sector A. So they first tried to disable the door and managed to get the panel open, but instead the group decides that Larry will go through the maintenance shaft available through one of the maintenance rooms, and Larry brings forth his own inner snake and just slithers through the very small window of a maintenance hatch and convinces Richard to follow him in. While the rest of the group is astounded by this feat, he manages to get to the other side of the door, but before entering the region of the other side, he passes through an invisible layer, shall we say, that forces a auditory attack upon Larry, which he's mostly able to ignore, but is still affecting him. And Richard is not as resistant to it. After ensuring that Richard was okay, he tries to explore a very dark, very expansive room and sees nothing other than the door blocking him off from the rest of the group and a, shall we say, a podium. No, I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of the word. I'm
What was
sorry.
what was in the middle of the room?
Uh, the flipping console along
Oh, there you go.
a console that would operate the door. That's all he could see on the available to him to try to get the door open. As he goes to the console, he notices, without being able to hear anything, due to the whatever effect that's causing him to lose all sound, a vibration coming through his body, constantly affecting him. And due to those vibrations, Larry notices that the walls themselves are moving and reacting to his movements. And that's outright freaking him out. So while all that is going on, he tries to operate the console without touching the console, but there is no reaction from it. It does not light up. Nothing happens. He tries taking apart the flooring, gets at the innards, only to see that there's power, but it's not reacting for some reason. And while this is happening, Billy decides he's had enough waiting. He shouts down into the maintenance shaft, only to be shouted out shouted back at for some reason. after, was it after or right when Larry enters the room? One of the two. There's a shout of voices and the same auditory attack that Larry and Richard experienced is in a minor way affecting the rest of the group. Concerned as to this happening, Billy decides that it's time to make another check on the door. This doesn't go nearly as well, so instead, it's better to just shoot the door. I believe that he shoots right after his second shoulder check pried loose a panel, and he shoots into that panel region. And that is the exact same instant when Larry, having given up on everything else, decides to smash the console to hope to open the door. Only as the very instant that the wrench touches the console, it immediately lights up. Because, like a dumbass, Larry didn't think to actually touch the console. So, at this instantaneous connection of wrench meeting console as a face and bullet going through door, the door opens up.
It was the magic
And
combo.
it was a magic wombo combo. Everybody can see each other and everybody can't hear shit no more. Uh, Ever since that moment, there has been no auditory communication. All we can feel is vibrations, and we can only see each other being impacted by this odd effect. Upon gathering themselves, the group moves into the room to find a massive gathering of computers and long dead workers. All you can see is row upon row of desks with corpses and, well, we didn't determine all of them being defunct computers. Uh, as the group starts to plan out and try to figure out what's going on, we decide to check through the logs of a computer itself, and we see information of um, reports from security, science, and management, uh, but nothing that helps us determine what is affecting our auditory system. But during that research, we do find out that we are in Sector A, where we want to be, and Larry is thinking that through all the information that they're getting, that it has to do something to do with the chip that is mentioned in one of the logs, or it was something like that. And that maybe that chip allows access to an elevator system in the middle of the room, considering the current layout as to where they are on the station. And after that, the group moves on to a very large monitor and computer system off to the side and does a more in-depth search through the logs and manages to get the lighting system back on. And we could see much further into the room. It's much more expansive than we thought. And we could see other spoke entrances. Since we've had enough of not being able to hear each other anymore, we decide to go to another one of these spokes to see if we can possibly get to a section where we can talk to each other. We go to the closest one and manage to, through arduous attempt, open the door by pressing the console. And that's where we left off.
Fantastic.
Yeah, very thorough. Thank you. Sorry, just doing some real quick last minute audio adjustments.
No worries. Take your time.
Making sure I can hear real nice and clear. Okay. Yeah, as Mike said, that is where we left off. You guys have a long hallway in front of you and the room of moving panels behind you. What's the play? Play this?
We still can't hear each other, right?
Sorry, one more time.
We still can't hear each other, right?
Yeah. Mike's gonna be the Pem whisperer this episode, I can tell.
Thank you. I had you a little low.
Mm.
No, I honestly thought you were doing that.
Nope, that's just what I sound like right now.
No, Max. Like,
Oh.
Because it's a. Can we hear each other?
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha. I'm too slow on the uptake.
The answer is yeah. While you're in this hall and in this room, there's no sound that you guys can perceive.
I believe last time we were deciding to just go to the other side of the spoke to see if we can reach a section where we can at least talk to each other without having to do motions.
I believe that's correct. Real quick interjection. I propose this time we only go our standard 3-hour cap. Partly because I'm not feeling 100%, and also because last time I remembered at the very end, I'm like, oh my god, that's right, Adam's doing this at some ungodly hour in the morning, and we made him stay up until like 4 o'clock in the morning, trying to stretch another hour. Okay, but still, it just I don't want to make you feel like you have to try to hang on when you're not feeling it. So I'm fine with sticking to a 3-hour cap if y'all are.
That sounds good to me, yeah.
If we need to in the future, we can always change our playtime if we want to do more.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I don't think there's any change in the plan, so we'll just go ahead and proceed down the spoke to the other side until we can actually hear something.
Okay. In that case, the 5 of you, all of you and your at times unwilling companion, Richard, make your way down the hall. It is similarly locked down to the one you used to enter here, so there's nothing in your way or surprising you as you walk down it. And eventually you reach the end. You see the same setup as, again, where you entered from, a T intersection where this spoke on this huge wheel connects to the wheel itself. Unlike the other one, it seems as though there's some kind of failure to lockdown, or maybe lockdown never even fully engaged, as the large door that you all rushed to slip through last time is wide open here, with a similar, if less gory, scene before you. Clearly, there was a lot of traffic here, but not the blood and bodies that there were on the other side.
And so there still is bodies there though, right? Or is it just it's apparent that there was a lot of traffic?
You guys went down a different hallway, correct? The one
Yes.
you entered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one does not have any bodies. It's,
Okay.
The floor is worn and dirty, not from, dust and disuse as the rest of this place is, but from obvious heavy traffic. There's boot prints and all sorts of things, equipment left behind from people who are, leaving faster than they could gather all their stuff.
Okay.
But
Just
there's
a
no blood, there's no bodies here.
question on geography. This might have already been explained, but either I missed it or I forgot it. Are we the room that Larry snuck his way into? was that a hub of sorts? And so we're going down, we've gone out, we've left that room, we're going down like another spoke, back out
Yeah.
Yes.
toward the
Yes.
circle, right? Back out toward the ring?
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
Like if you do you remember the first image that we had of the station?
Yeah,
We were basically in
in
that
the long
Large
tube
middle
part.
shaft.
ring.
Yeah. Okay. And this it might be too late for us to perceive this, but when we were in the hub room, we saw doorways that led out to other spokes, but we didn't. Was there? I don't remember. Was there like a lift or anything that was going up and down?
I don't remember Max saying that we
Yeah.
could see it, but
Yeah,
that
Mike
is
looked
what.
for one.
Yeah,
You
Larry
guys
was
did not find
specifically
any.
looking for it.
Okay. Okay. So that doesn't mean that there wasn't one. It just means we weren't able to find it if it was
Right.
there.
Yeah.
As
Okay.
I recall, we couldn't even see the other side.
Yeah, because it was a very large space. I remember that. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're continuing down this other spoke. And what's our progress to this point?
We're at
You're
the
just about
intersection
getting
right
to
now.
the end of it.
Oh, okay. And have we noticed a cessation or diminishing in the crazy sound?
I was just about to say,
Oh.
as you guys get to this door, this opening, and you walk through it, sort of slowly, it can happen at different times for each of you, but one by one, you guys feel a similar sort of pop that you and I would get, going up in an airplane, or your characters would get, leaving and re-entering atmosphered environments. Your ears pop, you have to sort of yawn or stretch your jaw to get it all out. But eventually, everything sort of settles for you guys, and you feel much more normal and much more comfortable than you were in that large central
Phew.
big room.
Thank God.
And as you guys reach the door, you can see similar blinking lights to the one again that you entered from. These ones are not blinking red and are not installed on the wall as like some part of an emergency contingency, but they are little stands like you would see surrounding construction, blinking in lighter, more welcoming orangey yellow colors and instructing people to head from your guys' perspective to your left around the ring.
So not towards Sector
Was Sector A the hub, or do we
Yes.
not know that? We do know that. That was my understanding. Was that Sector A was the hub? Okay. Oh shit. Sorry, I was going to say something and I just forgot what it was.
Going to follow the directions.
I would not know why we wouldn't, unless we just don't trust this frickin' station, which is probably justified.
In character, I'd say, well, back there was Sector A, which we were looking for.
Yeah,
As
but it was
far as,
really hard to tolerate.
I mean, not much in this station has been tolerable to tolerate in the first place. As for what you were asking last time on what the computer was saying, I think it was some kind of method to operate the lift, if any, that's in Sector A. Because I'm thinking that's along the main shaft of the station.
That's what I would have thought too, or that's what Billie would have thought. It seems weird that there wasn't a very clear way to move up and down that axis of the station versus just continuing in the ring and the spokes and all that. Are we? So, again, I can't remember exactly, but there was some. We were privy to some communication. Something in the last session clued us in that people. Oh, you'll have to remind me because I don't remember. I wish I would have gotten this stupid.
Like some kind of biochip thing.
No, I'm thinking about how there was evidence that one select group of people on the station, like, were the inner circle. Like, they got special.
Oh, there was the
Uh,
thing saying to like evacuate, but don't tell.
Don't tell.
What's
Yeah.
going on? Yeah.
So, would it be reasonable to think that the people who got that special notice, I think it was just security, right? It was just the security group.
yes.
Yeah.
That they're maybe the ones who made it to this part of the station where all there's clear recent foot traffic and all that stuff versus the other parts of the station where it just kind of seems like people were left to their own like where Richard's from, like you're all on your own, you're boned. I'm just thinking, like, I don't know. I'm not saying that it's a great idea to follow these lights, but if we're looking for answers, it's more likely that we're going to find them there than just wandering around blindly, you know?
Yeah. Just be prepared just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait. Remind me. None of us have a shotgun, right?
No.
No.
I've
Damn.
got my assault rifle.
Assault rifle. Yeah. I know. I'm just thinking, like, feels kind of like Half-Life or Prey, where it's like, oh man, a good shotgun right about now would be make me feel a lot more comfortable. I feel so much safer with a shotgun.
I think the last time we had a selection on guns was back in that one section before we rode the, the tram to this ring, and that was on all those bodies.
Yeah.
We haven't come across a security station.
Yeah, no, I think this is what I'm expressing right now is just a dichotomy between Billie, the character, and Pem, the player, where Billie's like, I'm a pilot. I don't need a big firearm. Just a service revolver is fine. And now Pem's like, fuck, man, a shotgun would be really nice right about now.
A double barrel one or a pump action one?
I think pump action would probably make me feel safer.
Right.
Okay. Well, it seems that we've decided that we're gonna follow the instructions of the lights and proceed down the corridor that way.
That's my vote, but
Yeah.
I'm open to a veto if the rest of the group disagrees.
I mean, in character, there's nothing for Larry to say other than the potential of going up and down the main shaft if we could find the elevator, but we couldn't even see that. So I would say Larry's fine with going down the corridor instead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure about to follow the signs, but I don't have much of another idea other than going back the way we just came from and trying to deal with the no sound
Mm-hmm.
issue.
Do we? This is an out of character question, but was there? I know that we dealt with like Larry was dealing with the panels that were like changing their position based on where he was in the room. Do we know for a fact that the deafness issues were caused by those panels, or was that we?
We don't. We
They
don't
seem to be
know.
related, but we don't know for sure, right?
No, I believe, unless Max wants to say, but I believe they were in reaction to vibrations, and that they were reflecting vibrations back. As far as to what's causing the auditory issue, we don't really know.
Okay, so if Larry like took a wrench to every panel in that room, it doesn't necessarily mean that he would.
I can tell you right now, Larry won't go near me.
Okay, all right.
That shit freaked him and me out.
That solves that problem. Yeah, never mind. I'm all for the lights then. Let's do the lights.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I think we're going to progress down the corridor from the lights, Max.
All right. Following these yellow blinking emergency lights, signs, and stands down the hall for their brief little ways. You see all of them have some variation, if they have any text at all, of emergency, escape this way, so on. Most of them are just arrows or blinking lights to get people's attention. So the five of you
Oh,
continue
that's
to
not
travel
subtle.
down. Well,
I'm sorry.
Richard, I forgot. I legit
I'm
forgot.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I was kidding. I was kidding. I'm sorry.
Okay. The five or six of you um, continue down this particular section of the hall. At the end of the lights that were managed to be put in place before everything sort of hit the fan here, you see on the floor in big, similar yellow letters painted on, much like the sign for Section A and Section B and so on. Big, big yellow arrow, and underneath it, toward personnel docks. And just a little bit past this text, you see in the hall are a large section of windows. You're able to look out again and see that you aren't just shut here in the middle of nowhere. Although you certainly are, you are still, in space in a solar system. If it gives you any comfort at all, there is a little comfort in knowing that you're still, around theoretically other people, distant though they may be.
That's great. That's great. The horror of this station is so terrible that looking out on the void of space that wants to kill us instantly is a relief. Oh, thank God. If it gets too bad, we could always just airlock ourselves and die instantly. We still have that recourse. We could still do that anytime we need to, guys.
I'm so glad I got a method of choice of death other than unexpected.
Yeah. We could always choose to just space ourselves.
All right. And yeah, with that, you all continue walking, unless there's anything you want to do or look at as you go.
Does it still? I don't know if anyone else remembers. I just brought up the thing. Does it still look like the space station is going towards whatever planet we're trying to divert it from?
Space is pretty big, so it's hard to see exactly, but there you can see, yeah, the many inhabited planets around this particular star are, close enough that you certainly wouldn't feel great navigating something this big around them.
Right. So
It's
that's the
like
whole point of coming here, right? Was to divert the course of the space station.
yes, that is
That's
what you were asked to do.
our primary objective.
This might be going back a ways, and maybe this has been addressed and I just don't remember it, but do we know what the origin, like, was this the space station, is it independently mobile, or was it in orbit around something and got knocked out of place? Like, does it have its own power that it can move around on its own? Or do we not know that?
Yeah, it is flying itself
Ah,
from
okay.
the message that you received.
Okay.
That was a large part of why, to the people who hired you, basically strangers were chosen for the job, is that they had no idea that this thing was here until they detected it on course for one of their planets.
Okay.
And so they had no time to really prepare any sort of
Brief or anything.
anything really.
Yeah.
They were just like,
Okay.
look, if there is anybody out here right now, please find some way to divert this thing, find out where it is, or where it came from, rather, who's on it, what's going on.
Okay.
Because
And I imagine
we're going to be busy with evacuating our planet in case you guys don't make it.
right. And I imagine, kind of like in Alien, that we're kind of on like the outskirts of whatever human known space is, right? Like, we're not when we got a message to check this out, it's not like there were 25 ships in the solar system and we just happened to be the closest. We're like probably the only people within radio distance of this thing, right? Like, we're kind of out here on our own. Okay.
These are not, like well-inhabited planets, though there are inhabitants. It's not like there are any metropolitan areas down here.
Right. Yeah.
Colonies for all sorts of things.
Yeah, we're not like in the middle of a huge trade route or something like that, where there's going to be ships passing
Yeah.
by every couple of hours or something. Okay. Another question, and again, I feel like I'm like rehashing shit that I already should remember, but
No, it's been a while. Go ahead.
is there any indication? Have we seen any indication since we got to the station, or was there an indication in our original communication from the company that we work for how much time we have before this thing is before it's just time to say, fuck it, we can't save this thing, we have to get off and let it crash into the planet? Do we have days? Do we have weeks? Hours?
Yeah, you guys were hired like too quick for any sort of official
Briefing?
yeah, what's the word I'm looking for? Official calculations to be done.
Mm-hmm.
But you're a pilot. You certainly have a good idea of distance in space. You'd say you guys have a couple days, which means if there was anyone else who's going to try this, they would have to already be here, right? Because if they're leaving from the planet to get here,
Right.
to fill your role, if you guys have to leave, it's already over.
Okay, so we are on our own, but we're not in a particular rush at the moment.
Yeah, like
Okay.
if this planet is doomed, it's doomed. There's definitely time for you guys to get off if you feel the need to.
Oh, we're getting off. Billy's gotten off like 5 or 6 times since we got here.
I
Not
heard
in
it
the
as
right
soon as I
way,
said
but
it.
we're getting off. Well, let's do something else as we move on. Larry will check on that hatch and make sure he can quite quickly space himself if he needs to.
Okay. Just in case.
Just in
Billy
case.
decides to get off.
It's not really a decision, it's more like an impulse.
Just in case you're in the vicinity when
Yeah.
Billy decides
It's
to
a
get off.
spur of the
Excuse me,
moment
yeah.
kind of thing.
It's like you gotta go pee really bad. It's not, you don't make a decision to go pee, you just go pee.
It just happens.
All right.
All right.
As you all continue making your way down this hall, unless anyone else, like I said, is going to do anything or look for anything, you come across yet another large sign, this one hanging up from the ceiling, that says flight control. And before you, the hallway seems to open up into a larger than the hall at least, room.
Billy's just going to ask he's not expecting anything, but he's just going to ask Richard, like, are you familiar with anything that we're seeing right now? Have you ever been to this part of the station?
Did we drop the 4 people?
Did I lose somebody? Did we lose Max?
No, Max has been having issues with his.
He's typing.
Audio.
Yeah.
I think maybe what the updates fucked his Discord.
Oh, yeah. That's fine. We can just fuck around until he's able to get back on.
Or you could just type it all out.
So I don't know how much you I don't know how much you guys ever played Zork, but I played it a bunch on my dad's PC when I was like 7 or 8 years old, and it was one of the first actual adventure games I ever played. And one of the cooler things about it is that it had a pretty good understanding of grammar. So yeah, you could say like kill troll, and it would say like, what do you want to kill the troll with? If you had more than one weapon, you could say like sword or knife, and then it would respond. But one thing that it even had, at least the later edition that I played, is if you mistyped something, like if you typed sword but reversed the W and the O, it would say, sorry, I don't understand that word. And then you could type in oops and then type sword correctly, and it would remember what your original command was and fill in sword correctly. So there was one time where I typed something in incorrectly, and then I meant to type in oops and then the correct word, but I spelled oops wrong. So then the next time I typed in oops, and I thought like, oh, maybe this will work. Like it'll understand that I meant oops, and then it'll go back to the original command. But it was like, no, sorry, you can't do you can't do oops.
No, I never played Zork. I tried playing some text-based game, but I was like trying to go somewhere with like I don't know what, like whistles or something. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, it would.
I think I was gonna like go whist, and it's like I don't know whist. It's like,
Yeah, it could be very frustrating because you were very limited to whatever the developer's idea was at the time. Like,
yeah.
which is true of every game, but in a text-based game, there's just so few options. I remember there was one specific quest where you had to. It was like the gateway to some dungeon or hell. Like it was basically like a gateway to hell. And in order to get in, you had to like go in and rescue some ghost and bring them back. But in order to get in, you had to have a bell, a book, and a candle. And you had to ring the bell, light the candle, and read the book in the proper order. And if you didn't do them in the proper order, nothing happened. And there were no clues in the game. So you like randomly you'd be in the dungeon, you'd pick up the book. You'd be like, hey, there's a book here. You're like, okay, pick that up. There was no clue what the book was for. Likewise, there was another spot where you pick up a candle. There's no clue what the candle's for. And the same deal with the bell. And so then you get to this gateway, and there's no indication that you're supposed to use the bell, book, and the candle. You just have to like fumble through and figure this shit out. I think it was a reference to a movie or a book or something, like where some character opened a gateway to hell with a bell, book, and a candle. And if you didn't see that movie or know that reference, you were just like, what? Like I was like a 7-year-old kid. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And so I had to you had to go, of course this was before the internet, but the version that I played, they released it with a hint book. And so if you were in an area that you didn't know what to do, you could type in hint, and then it would give you a very like non-spoilery hint. And then if you didn't understand that, you could type in hint again, and it would give you like the full-on spelled out, here's what you actually have to do. But man, yeah, I remember like I was so fascinated by the game because it was like the first adventure game I'd ever played, but I was also incredibly aggravated with it because it was like one of the one of the hardest things to know if you didn't have a whole bunch of references already built in.
Yeah, I remember a lot of games being like that, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as I grew up and went back to at least look at those games, like, how the flip did I even
Yeah.
get through?
How was
this?
anybody supposed to
How is
know
anybody
this?
even figuring this stuff
Yeah.
out? And then you look into it, it's like they don't, man.
Yeah.
They use guides, and
Mm-hmm.
for good reason. Like,
You gotta
there's
call
a
that
reason
phone
those
number
games
for the
can hit
hotlines.
Mm-hmm.
Pay you $3 a minute or something for your hint.
Like-
Yeah. Phone lines to get hints for video games. That was a real
Yeah.
thing. Oh
Like, you
man.
remember those Might and Magic games?
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, those things came with legit books of hints and maps, and you actually had to use that shit to get through the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts.
Like, it was a legit way of making games back then. It wouldn't fly now.
I think that kind of stuff, playing those games when I was a kid, is what I think maybe frustrates me so much now if I play a game where either there's a puzzle or an enemy or something where it's like, okay, I know that I can beat this, but there's something specific that I'm not understanding. And I think it's frustration with those kind of games from when I was a kid, where I don't have the patience to just be like, oh, I'll just fuck around till I figure it out. It's like, nah, just open up Google Chrome and freaking search it. And just let's get this shit over with. I'm sure it's very clever. I'm sure they put a lot of thought into this, but I'm not fucking around with this. This is dumb.
Yeah, I remember playing some like point and click adventure games. I don't know what it wasn't Monkey Island, but like that style.
Mm-hmm.
And I never knew how to do any of them as a kid. You like click on things, and some of them
Oh,
have like timing and stuff, and you
yeah.
gotta like time it, and it's just like I don't know how to do it, but I can't remember what it was, what one we had. I know it wasn't Monkey Island, which is like that's the big popular one from the
Yeah.
90s, but
I only played Monkey Island like 15 years ago, and I guarantee you, I finished that game with a web browser open in the other monitor. there was no way I was going to do all that shit without having that browser open.
Yeah, I also remember how with growing up with those games, you learn to have a lot of saves, and you would
yeah.
use those saves. So it was the weirdest thing to me whenever like the years went by and this whole save scumming thing came about. Like,
It's like that's how
what
you
are you
played.
saying,
That's
man?
how you
That's how
played
you
games.
play.
Yeah.
What are you? What are you
Well, the
guys even
first couple
crazy
generations of
about?
games didn't have saves. Like you just played
Yeah,
until you
and then
died, and then you had to start from the very beginning.
yeah, and then they
Well, you got like a
exactly
passcode to put it in,
Right.
and like
right,
load you in with the passcode.
and then
But
they introduced
when they introduced saves,
saves.
that was like that was like, oh my god, this is how things were meant to be done. And then
Yeah,
for people to be like, oh, your save's coming, it's like, dude, this is literally the best way to play a game. Every other way sucks.
yeah.
I
Have
still
fun losing
make
all your
tons of saves.
progress.
Yeah, my reason now for making a whole bunch of saves is in case it gets corrupted. I end
Yeah,
up modding
That
a
makes
lot of
sense.
games,
That makes sense.
and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't want to like lose the progress and have my last save be way back, or I get soft locked somewhere, and like I go to a too high a level or something, and then my last autosave is 10 hours ago. I'm like, I don't want that. But,
Yeah,
like,
my Baldur's Gate
yeah,
3
go the wrong way.
play. My Baldur's Gate 3 play, I save scummed, but it made sense to me because there was a couple different points where it was like, oh yeah, I think I know how to solve this problem, but let me save it first. And then whatever solution I tried the first time killed everybody and everyone. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. Shouldn't have.
No.
Let's go reload. Max is typing.
The way I see like that the saves come in is like if you die, it's like you go back to a new universe. It's like all these different universes where the hero fails, but
Yeah.
you play in the one where he survives.
Yeah. You're just that lucky dude.
Yeah.
It's the live, die, repeat thing.
Yeah, it would also give Pam time to recover.
Yeah, I have time. The problem is Johnny Washy doesn't have time. Johnny
I
Washy's
think
not
yes,
long for this
so-
world.
I mean, if we meet up on the first Saturday of December, that should be good for Harry, right?
Yeah, yeah. So that's the last one I can really do, because then after that it's getting, if we're doing the third one, that's the 16th, 17th, which is a week before Christmas, so I got a whole bunch of stuff to sort out. I'll be able to play on New Year's because I don't actually do anything. That weekend after Christmas, I could do it, but I assume everyone else is going away and doing stuff over those 2 weeks. So, well, I don't actually know with you guys being in the Northern Hemisphere. Do you guys go away over like Christmas and New Year's?
People take stretch times off of work, but people usually don't travel just because it's usually messy weather-wise.
Yeah, here, that's normally like the best time of the year. It's sunny
Yeah.
and
Because
hot.
it's
You
summer.
go to the beach and it's middle of summer. So
It's because you live in
yeah,
the
I'm
upside down.
Yeah.
I mean, if people don't go away over Christmas and New Year's, I'll be around that weekend as well.
No,
Um,
Max, it's not your fault, man.
Yeah, let's
It's just a technical issue.
well, let's think about it. How I mean, I can always pause the recording that I'm doing right now, and if Max just wants to fuck around for 10 minutes or whatever and it works, then great, we can resume. If it doesn't work, that's fine too. We can always pick it up another time. We can just call it quits now. It's up to you guys. I don't
I
feel
got
strong.
today, so I can be on later than normal anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, we can wait a little bit. Let's
Yeah.
go ahead. And
It's up to you, Max. If you feel like it's something that's solvable and you just got to troubleshoot, then we can hang out. If it's something that you feel like is completely borked, then let's reconvene later.
Yeah. That baited pause. Wait.
Mhm.
Hope.
yeah.
Okay. Then how about the group just take like a 10-minute break? And
Play some mini pop while
what I was gonna say is if Max is like, no, we can't do the rest of the session, I'm like, okay, and then 5 seconds later I see him playing mini golf, I'm gonna be pissed. Yeah, let's
Auditory commands to move the pole.
yeah, let's come back at like 5 after, and if Max feels like he's close to a solution, cool. If he's not, that's cool too. Sound good?
All right.
Okay.
Right.
10-minute break. Sounds good.
Yep. You have been gone for 30 minutes though. That's significant.
Well, space and time get all
We were
weird.
You should see the beads of sweat that were rolling down my forehead trying to come up with things to talk about all this time. Oh my god. We talked about Zork. We talked about Stellaris. We talked about
I
Pathfinder.
could hear the whole time.
Ugh. I felt like a vaudeville act, just being like, "Oh, just go out there and tap dance." Like, yeah, okay. So what was the hitch?
So I've got. Sorry,
You're eating.
I am.
That was the whole thing. Lying.
You just wanted some
Dude,
pizza.
to have my dinner.
You son of a bitch.
Look, it's been sitting here the whole time we've been playing. Okay, I only took my first bite now while Discord was loading.
Oh yeah.
I suffer for my art for you.
Oh god.
The pure image of an artist, right there, folks.
Exactly. Anyway, no, my setup is a very simple Yamaha mixer on my desk, headset and microphone connected to that. Through that, I can hear myself and everything. So I knew it wasn't a wire or a fuse blew or something. Like everything physical was fine. It was the software I use is called the Voice Meter Banana, and it's really pretty
that's a
useful
winner.
for like separating out. God, sorry.
I was gonna say, if you got something that's called banana anything, it's gonna be a top of the line piece of hardware.
I mean, it's free. It was pretty highly recommended when I was looking for something doing its job, and it's worked for like the last 4 years that I've had it with basically no issues. So the banana, I trust in the banana pen. Okay.
You can't see that I'm rolling my
I'm a
eyes, but I'm
banana
rolling
tree.
my eyes.
Anyways, yeah, it was just not detecting the microphone for
Okay.
seemingly no reason.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying this on the front end. First, I think does it make sense, everybody, if we just take like another like quick 5-minute break before we get back into the real shit?
Yeah, so that Max
Yeah.
can
Mhm.
just relax.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the other thing I was going to say is if Max bails on us again, whether because of technology reasons or just because he's being a dick, then I vote we cut it off right there and we reconvene in the next Saturday that we're supposed to do.
That sounds
Yep.
fair to me, but you know my fickle temper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't roll that 2d10 correctly. I'm out.
Max, you don't need to pretend to slip on another banana peel to dip out, dude. Just say so.
Look, you guys already got me. This was all just so I could eat. I don't know what else to say. I feel no need to defend myself.
A full on half hour to eat and you're still going.
I got a lot of food. What do you want?
No body shaming here. Everyone's welcome here. No body shaming. Okay. Say 5 minutes. We'll reconvene. Sound good?
Sounds
Yep.
good.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, let's take advantage of this before something craps out.
Go, go, go.
All right, I will give a internet dollar to whoever remembers where the hell we were when Max's mic went out.
You were not about to enter, but right in front of the big
The flight.
door to the flight control room.
Of
At least
course,
that's
it was
what
a
the sign said.
big door. Of course.
Everything here is a big door, Pem. It's like a super mall.
Billie-
In space.
Billy is just looking around and being like, I gotta shoulder check fucking everything in here. There's just doors everywhere.
I don't got enough shoulders for this place.
I only got 2 shoulders and there's like 100 doors.
I could maybe do another 2.
Okay. All right. Okay. Back into character. Here we go. Okay. The door's open?
That it is.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
No shoulder kicks
No,
required.
not this time.
About to do an air
It
check,
happened off
man.
screen.
We're going to have to save him for the next door.
Mm.
Whew.
So, Mike, I have a question. We came into this corridor. Were there scratches like the ones on the first spoke?
There were not.
Oh, okay. And this anti room is just clear of any blemishes, right?
I mean, everything here is dusty and old, but yeah, there's not any like obvious and strange markings anywhere.
Is there evidence of people having used this space recently, like there were in the corridor where there was like heavy traffic signs?
Yeah, if you look around, there's definitely like boot prints and you know, dents maybe where a lot of people sort of gathered and stuff like that.
Okay. Given what we've experienced of the station to this point and how we've only encountered Richard as a living human being, would the things that we've seen since we left Sector A, the hub, where there's actually functioning emergency lights and high traffic areas, would anything that we've seen indicate to us that here we're clearly seeing space that humans have used since the original disaster, or is this more of the same of like where we found Richard, where everything's dusty and dark and things haven't been touched for months?
It seems to me like the latter.
Come in, Max.
I mean, I don't think that's something.
Okay, I thought we no, that's fine. I thought we lost him for a second. I was like, oh
no, I'm
fuck, here
still
we go.
here. Hi.
Max is thinking.
I am, yeah.
You need a hard drive light. We can see your the light just blinking, and then we'll know that you're thinking.
When the clapping stops, you know I'm gone. No. I
just
think
a
most
perpetual background clapping that we have to
endless
deal
clapping
with.
until I'm gone from this world. Yeah.
Oh, what a mess. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It seems more recently used than where you first landed on this station, but like barely.
But still relatively abandoned.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Did we walk through the door yet? That said.
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, Billy's like, unless somebody's gonna grab his arm, he's going.
I reckon we'll go through the door.
Larry's
Go
in the
and check it
rear
out.
with the gear, falling to the gear.
After the last time Larry went first into a room, I don't blame him.
So we all go into the flight deck.
Okay. You all strut into this, like I said, pretty decently sized room. And you can see immediately in front of you, smack in the middle of the room, is a large, almost completed circle of a desk with a small chunk cut out of it for people to get in and around both sides of it. Lined with chairs and 3 very simple looking computer terminals and all sorts of wires and tubing branching out of them, covering most of the rest of the desk and then running down into the floor where the desk touches the floor. Other than that, all around you on the walls are charts and maps, mostly physical and blank screens where you can assume digital maps would have been put up, along with codes and information for incoming and outgoing shuttles.
Is the light, are the only light sources ours, or is there environmental light that's illuminating the room?
It's the same occasional and mostly broken, dingy like office lights.
Okay.
Way up on the ceiling. Most of them are broken. Every like third or fourth is functioning but flickering and very dim.
Okay. I think right as I started talking, I heard Adam talk. Were you saying something?
Yeah, just saying, can we see like where the last mark on the maps was? What, like the closest place
on
to
the
where we are?
Yeah, looking at it, it seems like there are maps all over the entire station. There's a large chart of the docks where you guys initially, well, I guess not you, Rice, but the other 3 had initially connected with this station, and it's a large hub, basically like a parking lot, but for space flights. That connects at the tail end of this station, and then smaller charts of the front of the station closer to where you guys are. That seems like a sort of executive parking lot, like staff only kind of section.
I meant more like space maps.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead and give me some kind of check for that. You look around, you don't see anything obvious, but there's so many maps and so many covered surfaces here that maybe there's something hidden.
There's 2.
Ooh. 2. That's you rolled. Oh, just one d10. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you.
2d10, please.
Yeah, I was gonna say you rolled 2d10 and got 2.
I mean, it's
That would have been our first catastrophic.
I was
Still
gonna
not
say.
6.
I think Rice would have died.
Look at these maps, and they're so complicated. They give you a migraine that kills.
His fucking brain just explodes.
He had the exact opposite effect as occurrence that Harry did with Johnny Washy.
Yeah.
He tried to imprint that map and then.
So for a second, I just want to imagine a critical fail that could be so catastrophic that the rest of the party doesn't realize it was a critical fail and thinks, oh, fuck, if we look at these maps, it's going to kill us. We better get the fuck out of here.
With a 6, Adam, you can see that there are references to whatever sort of place that this station originated from, but they are faded and they are only like little snippets, almost like magazine cutouts, only text, nothing visual that would help you sort of discern where it came from.
Okay.
Are the consoles functioning?
Do you go and test them?
Do I have to touch it?
They're not on currently. Either they're broken or they're not on. That's up to you if you want to investigate that.
It's up to me. I touched one of them. See if I can turn it on.
You go over to one and boot it up, and it does indeed boot up. And it reveals a message along the lines of emergency situation declared, all ports of entry on lockdown.
Did we have to do some kind of bypass to access the station? I don't remember.
You're asking Max?
I'm asking anybody. Like
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't remember.
I plugged my PDA into that first whatever it was, the kiosk, and Johnny had the freaking schematic for the station imprinted on the back of his eyeballs. I don't remember having to do any special tricks to get in. We just hooked up and there it was.
No. I meant like us accessing the station itself.
Oh,
The station
like
was
when
locked down.
we docked?
Yeah, because it all access was locked down, right?
No, I docked the ship with the station, and we went to our end of the airlock, and everything opened up and let us right in. There was nothing stopped us.
But the system is saying otherwise.
Well, the system is a bitch. This is the same system that showed us our average location as we were wandering around. Remember, we came across the ferry, right? And the monitor showed us the relative position of us as an average group, like not even individuals, but just like, I don't know. I don't trust shit about whatever the station's going to tell us. Nothing.
Yes.
I don't trust it.
Well, I don't know. I think that's something to keep in mind. Yeah. Interesting. Is there anything that would allow me to bypass that screen to see if there's anything else I can glean?
I don't know. What do you try? There's nothing. There's no override button on the screen that you can see, but you can try and enter in like commands and stuff.
Hit the override button.
Hit the override.
Why don't you just hit the fix the station button?
Yeah.
In the game.
Yeah, I know, right?
The original devs were like, make sure you put in an override button and a fix the station button.
Hold on, let me get my wrench real quick.
That is like a fix the station button.
It is. That's a fix everything button.
Yeah, I guess where's the backspace button?
It would be on the keyboard.
On the
You
keyboard.
asking me, or you just talking out loud?
I'm talking out loud.
Okay, sorry.
Type in fix everything.
Yeah. I mean, if I can't see any kind of like commands available on the screen, then I guess I can't do anything.
All right.
So, okay, I'm sorry. I might have missed something. What did we learn from that?
We learned that the station is on lockdown, so no ships.
Technically, we shouldn't. Yeah. So we just learned that the fuckery that's fucking us is still fuckering us. Is that
It's
what
been
we?
fucking with us
Yeah.
since the very start.
Okay, got it. All right. Can I just ask for a refresh of the space that we're in right now, just so I can remember everything that we're looking at?
Yeah, sure. You see. Sorry, brain is melting. You see Larry in this like large, almost panopticon of a desk, interacting with some terminals in this large flight control room. And you're a pilot. You kind of know what this looks like. There's lights and indicators that have all gone dark and burned out or broken with this place's abandonment. There are maps and such on the wall. There are a couple of smaller, separate terminals that seem to be for like logging entrance and exits and stuff like that. A couple other desks for like written manuals and the like.
Okay, but
There's a. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I stepped on your toes.
There's another doorway opposite where you entered from.
But there's nothing in the room apart from what Larry just bothered with, that console. There's nothing in the room that is like, hey, come check me out.
Nope.
Okay. And this is flight control, right?
That is what the sign said.
So the station is locked down. Can we, Larry, you just slap me if I'm like way off base, because you're an offboarder and I don't know what your powers are. You might be able to only, unlock, fix like sparking panels, or you might be able to like brew fresh coffee on a space station you've never been on before. I have no idea, but is there anything in this room right now could you unlock the station? If we were not supposed to dock, is there a button or a set of commands you could press that would be like, hey, tell the station it's no longer locked down? Not because I want to, but just because I'm curious.
Well, first I slapped Billie.
That's deserved. That's fair. That's fair.
No.
No, that's fine. That's fair.
No. It was just a joke.
No. I'm just saying, like, this might actually go somewhere. Go ahead and slap Billie.
This might go somewhere.
We might actually have a sexual awakening right here, right now, in flight control.
Oh yes. That is
I'm kidding.
That
It's
is the
fine.
exact motive that's necessary for Larry right now. Slapping a shit-stained motherfucker.
I didn't know you were a sadist.
Oh, sorry. I got distracted by what Max is typing.
God damn it, Max.
Sorry.
Well, I could try to get access to unlock everything, but it's not something that's technically broken.
No. I think I'm more so thinking, like, if that's a thing that we can unlock here, then why was it locked here? And why are we more so not? Why were we not stopped by it? Is there any? That's my question. Is there anything that's in this room that would tell us why we were able to dock when the station itself is telling us that we should have never been able to dock? There's nothing obvious
Well,
here to you.
not really, because I can't access anything on this console other than this message of lockdown.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. All right. All right. Are you guys ready for this? Billie turns to Richard and grabs him by the fucking collar. He's like, "You piece of shit! What the fuck is going on?"
I should have slapped him.
You should have slapped him.
You grab this thin, pale man who has not been off the station in goodness knows how long, and I'm not sure if Billie is a particularly strong person,
this
but it
poor
doesn't take
guy.
much strength to lift this terrified scientist physically off the ground. His eyes go wide. He grabs at your arms, but not with enough strength to stop you. Please, I'm sorry. What did I do? What happened?
This poor guy. He hasn't had calcium in diet in like 18 months. I'm trying to beat the shit out of him. It's not okay. Billie puts him down and apologizes. It's just frustration at how little we're understanding about our situation here. That's all. I'm sorry, Richard. I'm sorry.
He sort of columns away from you and towards Jonny or whoever else is nearest. Goes behind them.
Richard, you can slap him if you want. He deserves it.
He cowers even more. He's like, no violence, please. I'm sorry. Whatever I did, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I think using Gollum as a verb was probably the best thing that's come out of this session. That was good.
Columns away.
I mean, he did.
Yep.
It's not quite
And-
like, the way a monkey moves with on their knuckles and stuff, but it is close. A little more spindly than that, and I think Gollum's fits that very well, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Is there any kind of signage as to what's further on the other side of that other doorway?
There is not. The doorway on the opposite side of the room is much smaller than the one leading into the full hallway of the ring. It's much more like person-sized, like a regular office.
And with my off-border knowledge, would I be able to determine if the order of lockdown actually occurred in this flight room, or if it had to come from a separate station, like a security station?
Go and make me a check for that, if you can figure it out.
Gotta pull up my. There it is.
Yeah, that's it.
I got a 10.
All right. You kind of look back at this computer terminal and look at the other two beside it and dig a little bit as best you can. And it seems like the message was sent out, broadcast across the ship. But by the point it was sent out, it seems things were already in such a state of panic that the message either wasn't received or wasn't able to be enforced, or maybe the electrical system had already started to fail at that point and it never really even made it to its destination.
I mean, I don't. What ideas? What are you guys thinking?
I'm Larry will say, I don't think we'll be able to figure out why the station got locked down from here, and I'm not even sure that it actually helped anybody outside of getting them to panic and move on. We may have to go to a whole nother room.
Is there no sign here? I'm Billy's asking this of Larry or Rice or Jonny. Is there no sign here that security, who we believed got special warning about this, did they come through here? Do we know that? Can we know that from where we are?
I don't know.
Well, as far as I can determine, a message went out. I can't determine anything else as to where it originated from.
Yeah.
Is there nothing? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just kind of recapping. So we know that the message went out to security to get them out and not tell the rest of the crew. And then there was another warning that went out for the rest of the crew with different instructions.
Right.
And then, yeah.
So the question is there anything in this space that gives us a clue as to where the people with the exclusive instructions went? Because in Billy's mind, everybody that didn't receive those special instructions is probably toast. Unless, like Richard, they've just survived by,
Unless you're Richard.
Yeah, unless you're Richard. But everybody else seems to be gone. The only people that we've seen on the rest of the station have been androids in various forms of freakish monstrosity. And so if we don't see anything here that indicates, I guess, okay, backing up. What Billy's wondering is, are there any remaining humans on the station who know what happened? Not in the Richard class of like, I've been surviving and I don't know what the fuck happened. But in the like, yeah, I was on the decision tree and I'm one of the dudes who said, fuck everybody else, close the doors, and now we're holed up in like one specific safe house? Or did they all jettison and everybody that knows what happened is gone and we're just trying to piece together the clues? Because if it's the first thing and there are people somewhere on the station who are holed up, let's go find those assholes. If it's the second thing, then we're on our own and we got to figure this shit out by ourselves.
Well, I don't think we saw any kind of clue that would lead us to other people yet.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
The real option that we have is to keep going.
Yeah, my thought went to the ladder of the only other person who was on this station was Richard, holed up in his little hole. Yeah, I would have thought, unless everyone else is scared of us wandering around and shooting random things and firing people in vents, they're not going to show them.
Yeah.
Like, if I put my head out to try and interact with these people, I'm just going to get a face full of lead. I would have thought we would have at least seen people, or if they might have seen Richard and been like, I know him from before.
Yeah. So you feel like we're dealing with the last survivor in Richard here.
Yeah.
It's not reasonable to expect that there are other people wandering around.
Yeah. unless there's another group of people who also took this call, but I don't think so. You know, like us, whether they've come onto the ship.
Yeah. Okay. So there was a set of lights, emergency lights that brought us to this space, Max. Is there another set of lights that leads us out of this space, or are we just looking at doorways that are otherwise dark?
Dark doors.
Dark doors.
Yeah, the emergency lights were, like I said, they were like roadside construction, just quickly set up poles with a little signage on them, and they lasted like all of 40 feet in that hallway.
Okay. And from here, can you refresh my... I'm sure you said it before, but can you tell us again what the exits are out of this room? There's the way we came in, which I presume is behind us.
And there's one exit in front of you. It's a smaller, more office-like hall, person-sized. And you can see, again, it's got barely any light, but light enough that you can see it goes forward a little bit past this room and then splits left and right.
And no indication what the split leads to? We would have to go down there to figure it out?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Billie turns around and looks at the rest of the group and just kind of gestures vaguely at that corridor, like with the intent of saying, like, unless somebody feels like they're going to learn something else here, this is our next.
Larry shrugs and says, "Might as well."
Yeah.
Nothing else here.
Okay. Billie's fine taking point going down this corridor. When we reach that left and right, is it a Y intersection or is it a T intersection?
T.
A T. He looks back and asks if anybody has a strong feeling about which way we go.
Lift?
Would I
don't
be
know.
right in assuming that would it be right to assume that based on how we traveled that the hub is on our left?
That
Or
would
it
be
on
correct,
our
yes.
right?
That'd be on your left.
Larry will say, "Well, as far as I know, if we go left, we might eventually make it back to Sector A. Don't know what's on the right."
We don't want to go to Sector A, though, right? Because we know that we can't hear or talk there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Let's explore.
So to the right, then.
Yeah.
Might as well, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, Billy's fine with taking point unless somebody else cares to, but...
Yeah, Larry's staying in the back.
Go ahead.
All right, so Billie will take point, assuming that Jonny Washy is going to be right there over his shoulder with that rifle.
Yep.
All right, in that case, Pem, could you roll me a d6, please?
Fuck. Yes, I can. One moment.
Thank you.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Billie, you lead
Instantly die.
You look at one of the maps that kills you when you look at it, and it kills you when you look at it. I'm sorry, rolling a kill. No, you lead your team out of this large, empty, echoing steel room and into this nice, quiet, smaller corridor. Head to the T intersection. You can look to your left and you see it goes down a ways and then turns a corner. And you look to your right where you said you're going, and you could see a door with glass panels with the metal break-proof mesh material in it. It's not done much to protect these doors. They're all messed up, and you can see on the other side is like a large pile of barricade,
Mhm.
but handily above it is a very obvious ventilation shaft that you can see has been like opened up and very clearly used.
Okay, so it seems like the options are try to somehow jimmy the door or clamber up to the ventilation shaft and slip inside. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Um,
Or come up with a third thing of your own
I
invention.
I was gonna say I think if I have a glow stick or a lantern or whatever that's illuminating this space, um, Billy just looks back at the rest of his party and gestures to the door, gestures to the vent above, and it's like, okay, what do we want to do?
How big is the air vent? Does it look like it's easy enough to climb inside, or is it like the other maintenance thing where you gotta contortion your way into it?
It's a movie air vent. It's tight, but you could fit in there if you had to.
Okay. Yeah. It's not like break half your bones to try and fit in there. It's not a
No, this is
Is
not
it like the
a
one that Larry had to literally slinky his way through, or
no.
is
It
it's
is just a
less
little
challenging than
bit.
that? Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm always cool with going up in another hole.
As am I.
I think I mean, okay, so Larry is already like stripping down to his skivvies to slip through this vent, but I think Billy's gonna at least like. Is there a panel, or are we just trying to like force the door? What are we looking at as far as access?
Well, what do you mean? Sorry.
Well,
Oh, in terms of, is there something that I
the
can?
side of the
Yeah, is this a doorway that like, oh, there's a panel and you just punch some buttons and it slides open, or we have to?
This is like a manually operated door. This is classic door style. You just
So
push that button.
doorknob, key lock, that kind of thing.
Yes.
What do you run out here?
And it is locked. Have we tried it?
It's you can see it
the
is
other-
barricaded.
Oh,
side's
I'm sorry.
barricaded, though.
Okay, Adam was trying to tell me that. Okay, sorry. Okay, yeah. Hey, Larry. I'm like holding up my hands to make a mount for his foot so that he can like lift up to the vent. The human slinky, Larry Fliamson.
All right. Calming right up. All right.
To be clear, I don't know if there actually
Larry-
is a skill that makes
Larry,
you particularly good at this, but it seems like you are particularly good at this.
Yeah.
It's all my offboarding, man. It's me going through all the innards.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes
Innards.
sense.
Well, Larry proceeds to get ready to get off. into
Too
the
late.
vent. All right. So I'll go ahead and get in there.
All right. With a boost from Billy, you hop up into this vent. You're able to pull yourself up once you've got your hands on it. It is made of metal. There's a cool breeze running through it. You can definitely tell that other people have been in here now that you're up there. It's like all jank from people who are not you trying to navigate narrow spaces. What are you doing?
Wait, hang on. Larry can recognize that other people have tried to go through the space? Like
well, it's pretty banged up in a way that
okay.
seems human of origin.
Oh,
So
okay.
It's possible that
So this has been
they just don't maintain their vents.
but it seems like it's apparent that this has been a common access point to this room? I guess that's what I'm wondering. Like, what is? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not Larry. I shouldn't be asking this kind of question. My mistake. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I'll go ahead and let the others know that it seems like there's been other people going through here as well, and I proceed to see if I can get to the other side of the barricade.
All right. You start making your way around this space. All the twisting vents and splits and various breakpoints on it. Go ahead and give me a check, please.
7.
All right. You make your way through the vent for a while, uh, trying to navigate best you can. But this is not maintenance vents. They aren't made for people to easily tell where you are and where you're going. So it takes you a little while. There are exposed screws and bolts and such that are you pinch your hand on as you travel through this place, but nothing too seriously. Those of you who are still on the ground in the hall, you can hear for a good amount of time the metallic banging as Larry carries himself and his trusty wrench through this entire vent system. Eventually, you find a vent opening over this large, multi story room, Mike. Uh, Looking through, the thin slits of it, it's hard to see what exactly this is, but it's clearly some kind of large bay or waiting area or something. And you can see,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, there are multiple floors to it.
Am I able to move the grating without dropping it, or is it
Um,
not an easy access?
that would also be a check. You can definitely kick it off, but if you want to do it without, yeah, like letting it tumble all the way to the ground.
At 19.
Damn, nice. Yeah, you're able to very
Good
dexterously
roll.
get your hands around the, yeah, very good roll. You're able to get your hands around the rim of the vent cover and sort of pull it up and angle it such that you can bring it back up there with you without it falling all the way to the ground and cling clang banging everywhere.
To discern more before.
Ooh, sorry, Mike, I did not catch much of that. You came out very
Yeah,
robotic and choppy.
it was very choppy.
Sorry about that. It was probably the notification. Discern more than I was able to before.
Yeah, sure. Now that the cover's off, you can see the large area you were looking at is definitely some port or bay or dock or something like that, with a catwalk going around the perimeter of it. And on the catwalk, there's all sorts of metal crates and various, workmen's tools. And in the large area, you can see taking up basically half of the entire floor space is like the skeleton of a stripped down ship.
Hmm. And those piled up items, would they be? Would I be able to figure out that if that's what's blocking the door, or if it's, or do I figure that this is a different location completely?
The items aren't what's blocking the door, but you're pretty confident after all you're crawling around that this is the other side of the door.
Okay.
In
Uh,
order to see exactly where the door is, you'd
let's
have to
go
like,
ahead and wait for them to come back.
Spider-Man out of the vent. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I'm Snake already, so
True.
So while Harry was gone, I managed to get the vent from where I was looking, the vent opening from where I was looking off without having it clatter down 3 stories high. I looked inside. There's a catwalk with tool boxes of tools and other kinds of items on it, and I can also see a stripped down ship. And I can determine that this should be the room where it's blocked off from you guys. Um. Okay.
And just to be clear, there's nothing you haven't.
Do
Sorry, I was going to say you haven't come back to tell us all this. This is out of character knowledge for us, right?
yes,
Okay.
because some couple of you went away. Uh, I don't think I'm close enough to be able to say anything without shouting down the vents, and I don't think Larry would actually do that after all that's happened.
Yeah,
Um,
that makes sense to me.
do you want me to do a roll to see if I can safely land on the catwalk?
Um, no, there's no real like threat. You can sort of take your time and shimmy down and just drop onto your feet. If you're trying to be like quiet or
Okay.
fancy with it,
I'll.
then for sure. If you're doing some ballet pirouettes on your
I
way
don't
down,
see anything. Mm, mm, mm. Can't skimp out on that.
I mean,
I
it'd
don't
be
see
really cool.
anything threatening, so it'd be cool. It'd be cool. I don't see anything threatening in the room, right? So I'll go ahead and drop down onto the catwalk, doing a couple of pirouettes.
Okay, yeah. Is there a
Just something
specific name for
something
like?
modest, modest number of
Yeah,
pirouettes.
absolutely. I was gonna say, is there a specific name for like acrobats who do ribbon work? You know, who like tumble down the ribbons?
Oh, I've heard of
That would
like
be the
the.
next profile I'll add. I'll add that along with the intern.
Uh, there's like the floor routine ribbon dancers, but I don't know about the people, the actual like acrobats that are like wrapping
In the
themselves
air,
up.
swinging from
Yeah,
and yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
sure there's a
up and
term.
down.
There's got to be a term for it, but
Probably.
it's
I
probably
YouTube
would
comments, sound
probably
off. Let's get that
acrobat.
engagement up.
it's probably some French Canadian weird shit.
Probably. All right. Larry, you're able to, like I said, drop yourself out of the vent pretty easily without anything nipping at your heels or waiting for you to drop into danger. You land with a pretty loud thud on this catwalk. And as you do, now that you're on ground level, you can see, yeah, there's a huge stack of chairs and boxes and table, like desks, and just spare wood all put up against the door. It's on the like same side of the catwalk as you
Okay.
are, and you can see the catwalk goes around almost all of the perimeter of the room, but leaving a large gap for this large door that you can see leads out
So my wife got me
into
this weird
space.
new tool for Christmas.
You know, like an airlock, multiple levels of
Mm-hmm.
it, but eventually leads out to the great outdoors.
The great outdoors.
The greatest outdoors, perhaps.
Um,
It's real big out there.
The
say
infinite
it's the final
outdoors.
destination.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm sorry. Did you say I have easy access to the the pilage in front of the door, or
Yep, yeah, you can walk right over to it.
okay? After a, I would say a fourth look around to ensure that everything's okay, Larry will go to that pilage and uh not quite yell, but try to convey that he's okay, and he'll start trying to move the stuff and starts to unclutter the door.
All right. Are you looking for anything in particular as you look around, or just one more sweep for danger before you start moving?
Just one more sweep for danger. I don't think Larry is all that all that focused on trying to see if anything is immediately wrong with the station or see if there's anything out of place. He's just really jittery and wants to be together with his group.
Okay. Yeah, looking around real quick, then you don't see anything. Like I said, seems out of place. Certainly, once you're in the room, nothing is like moving or doing things. But about as you reach the door and start yelling to your group, you hear this heavy metal creaking noise. You know, the sound you would expect to hear on a large station like this or a ship out at sea. That metallic, and it echoes throughout the whole room you're in, but you get like a chill up your spine as you can feel the source of it is somewhere in the room behind you. Like
R.I.P.
down
Larry
below you.
Fliamson.
No shit.
Alright, bro.
And I didn't yell yet.
It's good
You
knowing you,
might be able
Larry. You're the best, Larry. Larry. We'll always remember you, buddy.
I'm sorry. What did you say, Max?
You hear the sound after you've yelled to your group.
Oh, okay. Sure. And am I the only one that heard this?
Um, I mean, it's probably pretty muffled through the door, but yeah, if you guys, the rest of you are huddled around the door trying to talk to Larry,
Oh,
you would have
okay.
heard it.
Okay.
Okay. So I waste no time and I start just getting the door uncluttered in a
Sure, yeah.
panic.
Go ahead and give me a check, please.
Mm, 16.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Your work as an offboarder has paid off here. You're able to haul a lot of this stuff away. You can, using your understanding of like engineering and structures and stuff, you're able to see like a point deep in the debris that if you're able to move that, a lot of this stuff will just sort of collapse and slide away. So you reach in for that, and you swear, just as you do so, you wrap your hand around this piece of wood or chair in order to move it, and you swear you hear what sounds like uncannily like a step, and then another, and then a couple more, these slow plodding, again, a metallic workman's boots on the metal floor of this place. Dung, dung, dung. What do you do?
I'm so glad I'm not Larry right now.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Can we hear the footsteps on the other
So
side
what's
of
the
the door?
progress with the door?
Yeah, how far away are
You're
we?
just getting started, buddy. Harry, I would say the footsteps are a lot more muffled. You'd probably have to like have your ear against the door in order to hear it,
Okay.
or
Alright.
maybe you just have like really good hearing. I'd say it's more obvious that Larry is hearing something as he's trying to do this work. You can just sort of barely make out his head and face through the broken window as he starts working. He like turns and hears something almost on instinct.
Okay. And okay. What's the stuff on the door? What exactly is it?
Basically,
Is
just
it
big,
just
heavy wooden crap.
wooden chairs?
Yeah, wooden chairs, desks,
Okay.
spare pieces of like broken wood from things that were once chairs and desks.
But piled up on the
All right.
inside of the door,
All right.
right?
Yep.
So
And how?
just to be clear, like
How big of
whoever.
a volume are we talking about?
It's a good amount of stuff. You'd say like 2 or 3 people could have made this stack.
So, but just understand, the side that Larry's on is the barricaded side. So, from Larry's perspective, whoever was in the room that he's in was trying to keep out something from our side. Is that right?
That looks to be the case, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe Billy's not feeling so great about being on this side of the door.
You wouldn't say that if you were.
Hey, I don't feel good about being on this side of the door. You wouldn't say that if you were on my side of the door.
All right.
Dun,
Okay. Okay. So I'll do it. I'll do a roll to see if I can pinpoint a location on one of the chairs that will allow it to collapse and get out of the way. And then after that, I'll see what happens.
Oh yeah, I thought that's what your last roll was, and with the 16, you performed very impressively.
Oh, never mind then. I take my wrench and I smack the crap out of that joint.
Oh yeah, you switch from trying to pull all this shit away and let your friends into this is about to go bad real quick, wrench time, and you all of you hear a mighty thwack as the wood of this chair holding up this entire pile breaks, and all of it with a clutterful flump just drops and scatters on the floor. Dunk, dunk, dunk.
Get the
There's still a
hell in
small
here!
pile of
You
stuff.
figure out the
like-
door.
There's still a small pile of stuff like ankle deep on the floor now, but it's not enough to like stop you from pushing the door open on the other side now.
Larry
Take a
turns
little bit of
around after
strain.
yelling.
Can we see Larry through the door?
Yeah, there's
Okay.
big old windows covering like
Okay.
a decent chunk of the top.
Yeah, so Billy can see Larry through the door, that he's cleared away this obstruction, that his eyes are really, really wide and looks like he's about to shit his pants, and Billy starts pushing on the door in conjunction with whatever direction Larry's already pushing.
Okay.
I'm gonna get my gun at the ready, just in case it's anything. But
All right.
wouldn't be worried about that.
How well lit is the room?
Better than most places so far. It's
Okay.
this sickly blue-green pale light that covers everything. But
Okay.
the upside of that is it covers everything. You can actually see around for once.
All right then. After having yelled to them that he is done with his part, they can figure the rest out. Larry turns around and waits for whatever happens next with his wrench ready.
Okay. Jonny, as you said, you pull your gun up to your side, ready it at whatever's coming. And Billy, as you push on this door, you get a little bit of resistance, like I said, from the last bits of stuff down on the floor. But with a fall almost, you throw the door open and stumble into the room. Jonny, Richard, and Rice, you're all able to follow in if you like. And as you do so, Billy, you can all now hear the footsteps going from that plodding thunk, 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 and getting slowly faster and faster as they seem to approach you closer and closer until they're almost a running, and you can see at the opposite end of the wall of your side of the catwalk, not the opposite end like corner to corner, but from you in a straight line over, you can see there's a set of staircases, and you can hear the footsteps coming from there. Thunk, 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 thunk. And this orange cloth looking thing appears up out of the staircase. And then you can see more of it and more of it. And eventually you see a pair of legs, and legs alone, wearing what looks like was once some sort of engineering suit or like a high vis suit kind of deal. It's got the metallic strips on it and everything. And as it runs, stumbles up the stairs towards you all, you can see trailing behind it through the top half of the suit is this broken, mangled upper half of an android, spewing sparks and loose metal everywhere that it goes as it rushes. And despite its eyes facing the opposite direction, when it reaches the top of the stairs, the legs straighten out in your direction as though it could see you. And then it begins to sprint towards you again. Let's get some initiatives.
All right.
Oh.
What do we roll for initiative again? I forget.
It's just 1d10 plus whatever score you like.
I'm going with caution.
Okay.
Yeah. That fits. That fits.
And then initiative is just highest to lowest.
Oof. 4.
I'm go with excellent. That sounds about right.
All right.
Sweet. The dude with the rifle got 11 for initiative. That's awesome.
That is always good.
Although Mike's got
Adam,
16. Holy shit.
No, that was
No, that was the
prior
last roll.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
Oh.
sorry.
Well, I only get 16 on the D.
All right. That's nice. 3, 4, 5, 11. Jonny Washy, you, a prepared soldier, move way before the rest of these fools get their act together. You've got this barely together but somehow functioning android rushing towards you. Dunk, 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 dunk. Its head bouncing, making it sound like it's got a third leg as it runs at you. What do?
I'm gonna shoot it.
It does have a third leg, and we're all about to get off.
I didn't even start laughing until you did, man.
We call this thing tripod.
You gotta beat a
the other one?
14. Combat attacks are just like opposed rolls.
Okay, alright.
And I don't remember if we discussed that your rifle is small arms or heavy arms, so I will leave that up to you.
It's small arms.
Okay.
But I deal with double damage for being the officer, so it's like.
Oh, that's true.
Makes sense.
All right, beat a 14 and blow this thing away.
Yeah.
And then get off.
Blow away its third leg. And then get off.
We can't have someone not get off. On this mission.
Somebody's gonna get off.
Alright. Here we go. What do we got? Oh.
So close.
As you step over the pile of debris in front of you and try to get around your teammates who are just really great at putting themselves directly in your line of fire, you let off a couple of shots, and you can see they hit this android, but obviously in non-mechanically vital parts as it still sprints at you at full speed. Rice, you are next. You're up next. What do you do?
Sorry, I'm just laughing at the idea of Rice and Larry and Billie thinking they're like the biggest badasses, and Johnny's behind him going, "Get the fuck out of my way, you idiots!" As he's trying to take a shot.
Yeah, I'll try and take a shot too.
Okay. What kind of gun you got?
I think it's just small arms.
Cool.
The company accountant is packing heat.
I mean, he represents the company. He's got
Yeah.
to
Yep. I'm sorry, those monthly reports aren't formatted correctly.
That is a hit.
Sweet.
Go and roll a d6. Let's see how much damage.
So it's dead, right? 4 damage. That means it's dead.
Yeah.
Also stepping out in front of the group, Ryson draws this
Yeah.
well-made company pistol and lets off a few shots, this time striking into the android, which responds with a splurt of black, oily blood, and does indeed continue sprinting at you.
Damn it.
And then, Billie, you and the android tied, so you can go ahead and go first.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I just forgot that as the pilot, I'm actually supposed to go first in
That is
any
true.
combat. But that's my fault because I didn't call it out. I should have been aware of my
Go ahead
own
and take
class.
2 actions. You take 2 actions right now, that's fine.
Whoa! All right. Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm rolling 2d10 to determine whether I hit, right? Is that correct?
Yeah. If you're hitting, there's plenty of.
I'm blasting away. No, I'm firing. I saw Ryson land a shot, and I thought, "Fuck, man, I better make a hit. This is gonna be embarrassing if I don't."
Hey, you do.
Yeah.
But you do.
So just D6, right, for damage?
Yep.
3 damage on my first hit.
Okay. You draw your very well made but slightly less well maintained piloting pistol and you take
Covered
a
in
good
poop.
shot at this thing.
Yep.
We can only assume it has to be like all your other possessions.
It's pretty filthy.
You let off a round yourself and it strikes this thing in the knee. You can see it tumbles down and sort of rolls and lands itself all in one motion. Slowed, but still moving in your guys' direction.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and give you a second
So
action if you want to do something else. Or take
yeah. No. I'm gonna take another shot. You feel free to disagree with me, but I feel like if I have knocked it down, would I have perhaps advantage on this shot since it's slowed, or it's not immobilized, but it's slowed, or no?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so
Are you
I'm
looking for advantage, like a better chance to hit? Because advantage in combat is normally you roll double damage.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go for double damage. So if I miss, then this is all moot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So just a regular D10, 2d10. I'm sorry. So 10.
Yep. Yeah, you hit.
Okay.
Definitely.
So then it would be 2d6, right?
That would be the case.
Okay. 5.
All right. This time, as it's down, trying to pull itself back up without the use of its entire upper body, the 2 legs just barely get into a squat and push themselves up, dragging its arms and head behind it as you let out a last shot, and the thing flies back, sprawled onto the catwalk that you're all on, and twitches a little bit again, sparks flying, until it all sort of settles, and you can hear it across the room from you guys let out this whining voice. You can't make out any word from it. It just sort of lets out this sound as it expires.
Okay. Billy turns to the rest of his group and he's like, "You guys want to live forever?" And then he charges at the seemingly dead android.
Okay.
This is insane. Are we still in combat, or did we leave combat?
I think we're out of it.
As Billy sprints forward, all the other sounds of the room seem to calm down. There's no other threats, at least no obvious ones. So yeah, I'd say we're
The
out of
combat
combat.
music.
Okay, out of combat. Okay, so right when combat ended, that's when Billy did his badass, "You guys want to live forever?" When there's clearly no fight left in this enemy, that's when he's like, "Let's go!"
Larry lets out a shaky breath and he says, "Thanks, guys. That scared the crap out of me."
It's all good, bro.
I think Larry's just gonna take a proverbial knee for a minute, just to recover his nerves.
Now that combat is ended and you're all in the room, you all see the same thing I described to Mike.
Mhm.
A large open bay below excuse me, below the catwalk, with a small passenger-size ship that has been like stripped down just to its wire frame. Any of you who sort of look down at it over the catwalk, you can see that seems like where the android came from, by the trail of, again, black inky oil that leads from it to the stairs and then up towards you all.
And just
up on this side of the... Okay.
No, I'm just gonna say, just to be clear, this android is just one android, or is it a amalgamation monster like what we encountered back in the hallway when we first had Richard with us?
Well, seeing as you sprinted at it, you've got the best view. It looks like it is one android that has been severed and is only sort of held together by this jumpsuit that it wears.
Okay, yeah.
The top half of it was just sort of dragging behind.
Oh, I see. Okay,
The
that's
legs moving on its own.
yeah. Okay, that's good. That is considerably less badass than what I had in my head, but that makes sense why my service pistol was able to take it out so quickly. Yeah, I think up until right this second, Billy was charging towards it because he was going to shoulder check this thing, and now he realizes that it's immobile and seemingly dead, and he's like, "Oh, okay," and he just kind of backs off.
Yeah.
Shoulder checks are how he solves almost any problem. Engine won't start. Space toilet won't flush.
Here are the steps for Billy.
Yeah.
First application, shoulder check.
Yep.
Second application, another shoulder check.
Yeah.
Third application, shoot it.
Yeah. Fourth application, complain to Larry that it doesn't work. Fix this shit, man.
Why? You already wrecked it.
Yeah. Oh, good. This is the worst character ever.
There are a couple of about waist-high metal boxes that have been opened up and are full of broken and damaged tools. And on the far side from you all, you can see is a line of what look like offices and closets that, again, are part of the catwalk and overlook the bay below.
How many feet are between us? So we're all on the catwalk, yeah?
Yep.
And how many feet are between us and the lower level?
If you're jumping, like 20.
Okay, but not, yeah. Okay. But there, we could clearly, like, we know where the android came up, right? So there, it seems like there's a stairwell or something, or a ladder in that direction.
Yeah, right across from you is
Right.
a little staircase.
Okay.
On the jumpsuit on the android, I'm going to have a push around on the pocket if there's anything on it.
Sorry, one more time?
I
got on the android.
The jumpsuit on the android. I'm going to have a look around and see if there's anything in his pockets or anything
okay.
that might determine what this android, or if he's just, I don't know, put the jumpsuit on for someone else. Or,
Yeah. Does it have a badge? Does it have an ID? Yeah. Or is it just...
Does the badge say tripod?
If the badge does say tripod, this is the coolest space station I've ever been on.
Yeah, whoever among you are looking at this along with Jonny, you look at this thing, and as you crowd around it and crouch down in order to start looking at it, it jumps one last time, and you all sort of freak out.
Okay.
And then it lies flat, dead again. You can see on the upper half of it that, again, it was like dragging around behind it, is a little nice red embroidered circle with the name Mr. Helper in it.
Okay. All right. Just a really quick character moment here. At the time that combat started, Billy's revolver was fully loaded. He fired 2 rounds at the monster thing. When that just happened, he fired another round because he has terrible trigger discipline. And he shit his pants. So he's got 3 rounds in his revolver right now. And he's so pants shittingly startled that he isn't thinking about reloading at the moment. Just making that a note.
Okay.
Larry, who was on a knee, is now on his ass. I'm so over this.
Alright,
Fishing
so
around
what
through
was
this.
it?
Okay.
Mr. Helpful. Was that his name?
Mr. Helper,
Mr. Helper.
cousin of Hamburger. Nothing for that. I thought that was
He's
good.
just
Come on.
he's just a
Dude,
glove.
I laughed.
He's
That
a
was
glove with a
good.
face.
Thank you. Maybe Hamburger Helper's a regional thing. Who knows?
I've never heard of it.
It's it might be. It might just be a
Canada thing.
U.S. thing. Yeah.
It is a U.S. thing.
It's a. There were TV
I thought it
commercials
was a good
about.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was-
they couldn't get away with selling Hamburger Helper to the rest of the
no,
world.
the rest of the world would be like, "What is this bullshit?"
There's nothing in that's real food, I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was gonna be a burger from the name, not macaroni.
Yeah, it's basically
Yep.
macaroni. You just throw hamburger into it. So it's just like brown some hamburger and then throw it in this shit and you have a meal. That's basically the whole premise.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just macaroni and mint
In hamburger.
instead of
Yeah,
cheese.
it's like shitty shitty stroganoff essentially.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
An American delicacy.
Wouldn't recommend. There is such a thing?
Of course.
Hmm.
Anyways, digging around in Mr. Helper's pockets, you find all the usual things you might expect a mechanic or a handyman to have on him. He's got a little notepad and a pen full of very simplistic Android-like writing of problems that various ships that have come through have had, directions for real people to work on them to fix it. He's got a couple like spare coins of change that he's been air quotes tipped in order to give to, again, someone for whom money actually means thing. You looking for any other sort of thing? Yeah, true. Are you looking, for anything else specific, or just seeing what he had?
No, I just wanted to see if it was like what type of role he had before the space station went kaput. So it was like a service android, so he hadn't like stolen a. Well, I assume he hasn't stolen like a jumpsuit from someone else.
Yeah, I was thinking the
Go
same
around
thing
with-
you were thinking, Harry, that maybe he'd grabbed the suit from somebody.
Yeah.
Does this android look exactly the same as the other one, like the one we encountered in the kitchen, and the bits of the one that were kind of the big Rat King android? Like it looks like it's the same type of
gray,
model.
rubbery skin.
Yeah.
Same empty slits for eyes with just a little bit of a pinprick of light behind them. Yeah,
Okay.
like a CPR dummy.
So nothing that would make us think that this was from off station. This all seems like part of the same mess.
It fits the theme so far.
Okay.
While they're examining the android, Larry will stand up, do a cursory.
Mike?
We lost you after cursory.
Yeah, we lost you, dude.
No, sorry.
No, he's back.
Yeah.
He's gone. Sorry, go ahead.
So, he'll do a cursory look at the crates to see if there's anything of use. If not, Larry will indicate whether or not we should go check out the stripped ship.
All right. While the rest of the group appears to be looking over this dead android, you make your way to one of these metal crates, and like I described, what? Oh, Christ! Like I described, and like I said, join that together. Like I described, the box is at least on top covered in wrenches and hammers and stuff that is too badly repaired to really be of any use anymore. There's a little layer of packing peanuts under it if you want to dig through, see what else is in there.
Sure, I'll do a quick dig.
Is Larry alone right now, or like the rest of us are how
He's like
far
5
away?
feet away from you.
Oh, okay. All right.
You reach your hand in a little bit to brush away all these little pieces of styrofoam and see what else this crate has, and you touch something smooth and not quite cold, but not quite room temperature either. Almost tacky. You brush aside this top layer of peanuts to reveal these two little white pinpricks and this barely moving animatronic jaw bounces in sync with its words. We can help you in just a moment. Please, take a seat, enjoy the lounge, and we will be with you shortly. Another android under here speaks to you and slowly tries to pull itself out of the styrofoam, gripping the sides of this metal container, its metal fingers screeching as it digs into it. And it lifts itself to stand almost on top of the crate, standing over you, but hunched severely as it too seems to be damaged. A puddle of ink and oil sat at like the crotch of its suit, basically just slowly dripping, and it is fully bent over and spider-like. Let's get initiative again, boys.
God damn it, Mike.
Can I take the moment to scream like a girl?
Gladly.
Yeah, okay. Larry screams like a girl.
Initiative is 2d10, is that right?
1d10.
1d10.
Plus whichever
1d10.
stat you want to use.
Okay, I'm sorry. 1 second.
Mike.
Again, quite fitting. Really.
It is fair. All right, who got highest? Looks like
I
Adam.
got
and then
8.
Pat.
Yeah. Adam's first.
No, Pim's first.
Hey, if
Yeah,
anything, this thing could have sneaked up on us.
Oh, wait.
Wait, Pam's first? I thought Adam got a 9.
Yeah, Adam got a 9.
No, don't you always go first?
Yeah, but
then
Pam
Pam?
goes.
Thank you so much. Adam.
Gosh, even I didn't
Pam,
remember
then
that.
Adam, then Pam again.
Boy, I'm so bad at this.
Pam, we're gonna change
did-
your name to Goes First.
Yeah,
So we all
kidding.
remember.
Goes first, Billie.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So this thing is stepped out of the crate. Not stepped out of, but it's on top of the crate now. It's made Larry pee its frickin' pants. And I turn around and just happen to see this thing. And instantly, like Frank and Always Sunny, I'm just, blam, I just start blasting. I've only got 3...
Smooth moving pilot instinct.
Yeah, exactly. I've only got 3 rounds because I never bothered to reload. But I take a shot right away, and I'm going to say, what is it, 2d10 to see if I hit, right?
Yes. Yeah, your 2d10 versus its 2d10. And you definitely hit.
Yep. So then just a d6 to see what the damage is. 5. Ooh.
You let off another shot. It echoes across the entire bay, bouncing off the metallic walls. And the bullet sinks straight through this thing's jaw. It pulls its entire body to the side and turns its head to the wall. And then slowly, twitchingly turns its head past Larry to you now, Billie. We can service you in a moment. Please wait your turn. Is that all you're doing?
For this turn, yeah.
All
Yep.
right.
So
Adam,
Adam's
you're up.
next.
I see all that happen. And I don't want to be serviced. Into that. And I'll fear too.
All right. level up your gun. Let's see, sorry. Level up your gun to take a shot. You hit, but as you do so, you can hear ding, ding, ding coming up the stairs behind you.
We're so fucked.
I will say again, this thing would have snuck up on us anyways. I will keep that in my head.
But Adam, you hit, so go ahead and roll damage.
Shit. Dude,
All
we
right.
are fucking this thing up.
Yeah, coming in for another kill. Rice, the company accountant, takes a shot following Billie's lead and lands it right in the head. And again, this huge splash of oil and metal bits comes flying out, and the body of this android just collapses onto Larry. It's some, part of its spine or like a core that helped it stay upright is just thoroughly broken. It just tumbles down onto him. And then who's next? I believe Harry, you're up, right?
Am I?
No, excuse me. Pem, and then you. I forgot that Pem goes twice.
Oh, yeah.
Already, we just talked about it. I forgot.
Okay, so is it reasonable to think then that this original android coming out of the crate is dead?
It is sprawled on the floor, twitching until it stops twitching.
Okay, so seemingly immobile. In the meantime, we've heard the sound of another android coming up the stairs from the same direction as the previous one. So, yeah, Billie is not... he's got -1 caution, so he instantly turns toward that sound, and I don't know what the relative distances are, or what the lighting situation is, but if he feels like he can see anything moving in that direction, he is going to shoot at it.
You turn, and moving like a ghost, dead silent, this thing is almost within arm's reach of you. As
Oh!
it gets up the final couple stairs, and you see another android deeply damaged as its left arm and in up until about its neck is like nearly severed straight top to bottom, and all the mechanics that were sitting in its torso, in its rib, are flailing around this loose metal arm, just the skeleton sharp as a knife flailing as it approaches you.
Jesus. And I'm sorry, tell me again how much distance I have between me and this thing?
Like 3 feet.
Okay, and I am the one that's closest to it?
I'd say you're all kind of
Equidistant,
from
okay.
it, except for Larry, who's a little further.
Then, yeah, I'm definitely taking a shot at this horrifying monster. 13.
All right, you hit. Yeah, none of these things seem to make much effort in avoiding getting shot. They just walk single-mindedly towards you. And so as you let off another round from your revolver, the cylinder clicks into place, and a bullet goes straight through this thing. Does a good amount of damage. And now, for real this time, it is Harry's turn.
Alright. I'm gonna still up. He hasn't put it down with the shot.
Sorry, one more time?
It's still
your
moving.
mic,
Still moving.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, the second one.
Sorry, Harry. For some reason, your mic is 50-50 if I can hear it.
Oh,
I keep turning your audio up a little bit and then down a little bit. I'm trying to find the sweet spot.
I'll try and readjust it if that helps. Can other people hear me fine?
I can hear you seemingly just fine, yeah.
Okay. Alright, cool. I was just making sure it wasn't a thing on my end.
No. Yeah, I think it might just be my volume for you. Yeah. I can't get it right.
Alright, I'm gonna shoot at the second android that's coming towards us.
Okay.
Wow.
The officer, bad luck today, takes another shot at this thing. It's right next to you as you turn and raise your rifle. So you sort of, your instinct, your officerial idea is to take a couple steps back, keep distance on an attacker. So you sort of try and shoot at the same time that, and it goes wide. you can all hear the pew 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 as it hits the metal walls and ceilings of your surrounding.
That's good. I like that.
And now it is its turn.
Billy's like, okay, we have nothing against each other. I'm just a dude, as far as you know. You could shoot at any one of us. It doesn't have to be me.
Ryson, it marches
Never
towards
mind that
you
you're the one that shot
single-minded.
I know.
As whatever, like I said, whatever animatronic skeleton once kept its now nearly severed arm moving is broken through the skin and is just flailing back and forth, and it threatens to carve you up. Go ahead and give me any sort of check in order to avoid having that happen to you.
Come on, Rice.
Ooh, narrowly.
Ooh.
You manage to avoid this metal arm slamming down into the railing of the catwalk, and you can see it. You hear the thunk as it cuts right through it, metal on metal. And then, Tanom, it's your turn.
I have the other one on top of me, right?
I mean, it kind of fell on you. You can just push it aside pretty easily. It's lifeless. It gives
Okay.
no resistance.
Okay. I push it aside, and I'll take a. Well, how much room is on the catwalk exactly? Like, is there enough room for me to run without pushing on anybody?
Yeah, for sure. At this point, it's sort of in the middle of the other three, so you'd definitely be able to join them and start beating on
Okay.
this thing if that's your intent.
Yeah, because I'm not about to pull up my weapon, my gun. So I'll just run up and smack it with my.
All right. Yeah, very hit. All right, Mike, would you like to describe how Larry dismantles this thing with a wrench?
Sure. Liam pushing off the other android off of him, bravely steps one leg, then the other, taking a leaping lunge, brings his wrench down upon the elbow, connecting the the bladed portion to its body, all the way through onto the remaining body that it has, and smacks it down against the catwalk.
Okay. And with that, much like the other two, it flickers the little lights behind its eye, and its body tries to maintain some amount of movement until it just sags into death.
For a second, I thought that Larry was actually going to walk up to it with his wrench and like take a nut and a bolt off of it, and it would just fall over. Like that was a critical hit. Like, oh,
That would have been better.
No, it was fine.
Undo the critical bolt on the
Yeah,
android.
exactly. Larry knew exactly where to unscrew something.
And with that, once again, it seems all the androids around are dead. Silence fills the bay you're all in. And it has been 3 hours, sort of, not counting the tech issues I was having. Do we want to call it there?
I'm fine with calling it here. This this leaves a mystery, and we just had a nice
Before something else jumps us.
yes,
Yeah.
and we had a nice little climax there at the end too. I think this is a good spot.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got stuff I need to get done this afternoon as well, so
All right.
wrapping up here is good.
That sounds good.